Hello and welcome to another episode of Shed Manufacturing. Today we're finally getting back on the Project Lincoln, although be it in sort of a strange way. So this may be a crusty old Mercedes with a lot of damage to it, but in this side is a pretty untouched OM606 diesel engine, which, if everything goes well, will become the power plant for the Lincoln. I chose the OM606 because it's smaller, produces the same amount of power with an appropriately sized turbo and injection pump, and I can get decent fuel economy while I'm cruising down the road. Plus, it'll be weird and funky, and who doesn't like that? So let's get this thing pulled. We'll open up the engine, have a peek inside, see what we're working with. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why, with all of the space available in that Lincoln bay and all of the engines available, would this guy then choose, foolishly, to put an OM606, a strange European diesel engine, in such a cool car? And to be honest with you, I don't have an incredible answer for you, but it's mostly an engine that I've always found interesting. I love straight sixes, I love the sound they make, I love that they're inherently pretty smooth. I quite like diesel engines. I've always liked diesel engines. They're simple and robust and technically more efficient than gasoline engines. And this isn't a car for speed, it's a car for cruising. So fortunately for me, because I'm lazy, someone else at some point has tried to take this engine out, maybe successfully. But it means that I've got way less stuff to do. Which I'm very appreciative of. Come on, where's that hook gone? Ah, there it is. Okay, one chain. Let's get the other one. Now I massively prefer chains to straps when pulling engines, especially heavy ones like old diesel engines, because the chain has a much higher failure rating than a strap, and you can't cut a chain like you can a strap on a jagged surface, which you find lots of on engines. This must have been a parts car because absolutely everything that held this engine in was cut. The power steering lines, alternator connections, the starter wires, the coolant lines, everything was cut and gone. Which to a lot of people would be a really frustrating thing, but it was super nice being able to pull a whole engine and transmission with 2 bolts. Now it's time to put it on an engine stand, and this one definitely wasn't up to the task. The moment I put the full weight of this engine on it, it immediately bent. It's a very long engine, and that kind of exacerbates the bending forces on it. So I put it back on the floor for a minute, welded in a quick brace, and it seems happier now. It's still a little sketchy though, not thrilled on it. So you can watch a little footage of me going ahead and tearing this down to a short block. One thing I've always struggled with when building really anything has been keeping track of all of the bolts, all of the nuts, where the parts go that I pull off. I assure myself every single time that I'll totally remember. And then when reassembly comes around, I'm just putting different length and diameter bolts into holes, trying to figure out which one is supposed to go where. And it's a time-consuming process, and it's a frustrating one. So I finally started doing what I should have been doing the whole time, where as soon as I pull bolts out, I take them straight to the bench, I mark them in a plastic bag from what they came from, how many bolts there were. It's the process my dad's used for years, so it's not like I haven't known about it. I was just lazy. Now that I have it all stripped down to the block, I don't know where this car lived, but there was a bunch of like surface rust that had gotten up under the paint and peeled it all off. So I'm just wire wheeling it down. I'll probably wind up doing another little scaling and really get it nice and shiny before I rust encapsulate it and paint the block back. I think I'll go black just because I'm not trying to make a showcase out of this engine. It's more a workhorse than anything. Not too sure what I'm going to do about that vacuum drive. It looks a little rough. So here we're just pulling off the old injection pump to try and make a little room for the new mechanical one that'll be a backdated OM603 unit. They fit just the same in the block, but the back end of them is completely different. This one seems to be in good working order aside from the cut harness. Shame. So after months of waiting, I finally actually was able to get some tangible progress done on Project Lincoln. We have our little Mercedes OM606 diesel that will soon get a new coat of paint, tidied up accessory drive, and pretty much all new seals in just about everywhere, and a new mechanical injection pump that'll convert this from an electronically controlled diesel to a one-wire mechanical machine. And that should be pictured somewhere here. Then we got some 20-inch wire wheels that I scored off of Facebook Marketplace for not as much money as you'd think. So the project plan going forward is take out the suspension, remove all of the factory undercoating and wax that was put on in the 60s, reapply with Eastwood chassis black, used on a bunch of projects, always an excellent product, and then install all of the brand new CP chassis, control arms, and 4-link conversion kit for the rear. We also have some Slam Specialties bags, so that way this will be laying rocker channel, and a whole bunch of airlines, so we'll be able to route airline, and I plan on sort of reconditioning the underside in stages. So that way we'll pull rear suspension out, strip it, and then chassis block it, and then install the new stuff, and then have the rear end put back in, and then that'll be squared away, and then we can move further forward to the center of the car and then to the front. Now I anticipate having to cut out things that I chassis block. That's not something that's going to surprise me. I anticipate us getting through here, doing the chassis block to repair and rust proof stuff, and then on down the line at the front where we have to make room for the new OM606 and also the associated intercooler piping and whatnot. I fully anticipate the transmission for this. I believe we're going to go with a 6R80, which is a Ford transmission, 6-speed or automatic, computer controlled. And I don't think that's going to fit in this tunnel. I think we're going to have to chop a decent amount of this tunnel and make a new one. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it though. Well, that's about all I've got for an update. So tune in. I think we'll be getting onto rear end air ride stuff next time.